Hello, gang. I'm back. Happy, Tuesday to you. Got a lot done. Haven't recorded it all. It's been a lot of tedious work, and that's a little bit hard for me to focus on and do the filming at the same time. Let me show you where we're at. Just catching you up here, guys. What I have done. What all have I done since I've been gone? Under seat pan. Okay, I miscalculated on my battery. I didn't know it was going to be that tall. It's really tall. If it had been like 3/8 of an inch shorter, I wouldn't have had to have put this little roof in this under seat pan, which is, I don't think it's going to be noticeable. Really, it's going to be painted black with the seat over it. I believe it'll blend in. I hate it, but it is what it is. I got it drilled and tapped from a stainless screws. I'm hoping to find a better looking screw than this. That's kind of ugly in my opinion. But I didn't want to tear apart all of our work that we did here. I've got a bunch of welding, 1, 2, 3 brackets I'd had to cut out. And I don't think it's a big deal myself. I don't believe it would be noticeable. I don't think it's going to be an eyesore. So we've got that. He just pop out, take his seat off, pop out 6 screws. He can get to his battery. The coils. When I got these coils in the mail, they're wider than the originals and they wouldn't fit. They would hit the bracket before you could get a bolt in them. So I just took a couple of flat pieces here and here, another piece across the top, just rounded it off to make it look nice. Another tab welded on the frame there. That got our coils mounted. This is my favorite part. This was a lot of fun to build. I want to decorate the sissy bar, okay? So what I did was made a cross for the back of this. This is going to be left raw metal, but I'm going to clear coat it. Whenever I get to working on the frame and it's ready to clear coat, I'm going to untape this and it'll be like it is. Sissy bar will be painted. I think it'll look pretty good. I like it a lot. We got everything working now as far as the electricals. Today's project, I've got to mount this light. I was putting this light together for my chopper, that 86 model Harley I'm building, and I gave it up for this bike. I'll find another light for mine. I didn't like the one that I had showed you all earlier, the little rectangle. It just looked too new. What I want to do is put this light, which I painted with a copper color, on here. I'm building my brackets now. You can see this is the process. I'm just in the process of taking my grinder and getting the arc in it. You can see I got the underside of that one done already. This is what we're going to have. And it is going to weld here on this bracket. Okay, it's going to weld there, and then the light, obviously, bolt right here. So that's what we're doing. I'm entertaining the idea of drilling this with gradually larger holes as I go up, just to give it a little flare. Yeah, I'm gonna get to work here, and I'm gonna get this cut out. I got another one I've got to cut out. This was a little bit of a challenge on this because it's an arc. You can't see it. It's almost undetectable. You might be able to see it there. You see it goes this way. What I did, I had to take a flat piece of steel here, use an 1/8 inch to build all this with, and I bolted it on. These bolts stuck out like this. There's plenty of clamping force going to be left on that tree. And then I took another piece of flat and I just worked out a little area for my forks on both sides, and we're going to weld those pieces I'm working on now. We're going to weld those on it, and we'll see what we got. Well, guys, here's where we're at with this little project. I got both those pieces of metal cut out, and they're very, very close. But what I want to do now, I'm going to weld these together. I'm just going to tack it here and tack it here, here and here. And I'm going to shape all that into where they're exactly the same. I don't know if you can see. This one in the rear is just a hair longer than this one. And I want this thing symmetrical where that headlight is going to shoot straight out in front of the bike. I don't want any discrepancies because it's going to affect the aim of the light. So I'm going to go ahead and weld these up and grind them out together, and they should be really, 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 really close to the same. So anyway, I'm going to turn the camera off, put my welds on there, grind them out, see what we got. All right, guys, I'm back from the grinder, and I got it looking pretty good. I had to do a little bit of shaping up here too on these. I wanted these to be pretty symmetrical. I don't know what I'm gonna do now is, before I get, you can see I ground one of my spot welds up here out because it had to be, you know, getting my shape. I ground that one out. You can see it was there. I want to leave these two in place because I want to get a center punch on this and take this over to the bench grinder and the drill press. Sorry about that. I want to go to the drill press and drill that hole out. And once I have this and these exactly the same, I got my geometry right. That's where I want to be. So let's get this thing punched, and we'll get over to the drill press, drill that out, and then we'll take a flat disc over all this and make it where it'll, you know, be paintable and look good. We'll get it all dressed up. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Here it is, guys. This is, I went ahead while I had this welded together, and I put a 1/4 inch hole, 5/16 and 3/8. And this is our 5/16 for the 1/4 inch bolts to go through to mount the headlight bucket. So let's get this thing ground out and see what we got. I think we're good. I'm happy with it so far. I'm gonna take a flap wheel to this, flap disc, whatever you call it, and see if we can get her cleaned up and make it presentable. All right, guys, that's it. I got them all ground out with that flap disc. Try to make them look a little bit better on their faces. Get that old mill scale off of them. I just cracked it apart with a little, just tapped it one hit with that little old chisel, and it's come apart, so you don't have to worry about them sticking. I guess you could really get heavy at the weld and do that, but I just tacked them together and they came right apart for me. So I'm gonna clean these up and we'll be ready to start getting this. I'm gonna make a little bit, let's see, what did I do with it? Had some of this some wrought iron posts for a house. It's just scrap. I cut it at nearly 5 3/4. And I've got to get these welded in between here, just tack them in using, let's see, right here, little magnets. Put that together and make another one for the top. That way I can fit it right on the bike and weld it out. So we'll tack it on. I'll have to take all of it off the bike to weld it out. But yeah, I'm just going to make me a little jig. I'll show you when I get to it. Alrighty, now we've got to, what I want to do is set up the square line and then use my magnets to hold everything square the way it's supposed to be. I'm going to put one line right here. Let me get a square. I hope this ain't boring for you guys. I usually don't film this kind of stuff. But I thought, well, you know, there might be somebody out there that would like to learn how to do it. Not that I'm the best at it, but I may be able to give them the idea in their mind that it ain't that big a deal, that they can do it. All right, now I'm going to set that up square. Get everything positioned right. There we go. That's closer. I want to make sure it's resting firm down on that piece of steel. And all we're doing right now is just jigging it up. Okay. All right, I should be able to tack that on there. Let me get this to set up square line off of. I should have made two of those. I should have made two of these from the get-go, but I was being lazy and I didn't. So what we're going to do is try to get this other one set up in the very same way. And that will tack in place. There we go. I want to make sure I'm... Let's give that a little bit of a... Need to get my piece in there square. Okay. Let me see. Run square with that line. I think I want to swing it around it. Yeah, right there. All right. I'm ready to put a tack here and a tack here. And then we'll check it for square before we put this in up here. Make sure it's all good. And yeah, so I'll get these tacked up and we'll do the rest of it. All right, guys, here's the deal. I got these pieces in place. Everything's squared up. It should be good enough. Let's carry it to the bike and we'll hold it up there, see what we got, and we should be ready to weld this bracket on for good, and then I can cut my little what a jig, for lack of a better word. I can cut that out and we can get the headlight in place. I'm glad I didn't go ahead and take this off the bike and weld it up, because I had to relieve these back edges because of the fork tube. So I relieved that back edge on both sides a little bit, and I believe, guys, that we are ready to take these bolts out and get this thing on the bench and get it welded up. So here we go. Alright, guys, there it is. Let's get the light. And I tried to allow enough in between here. I'm going to take my idea, in order to get this to clamp, is to put a washer on between each one of them, and on the side toward where that mounts, to build up a layer of solder to where when I tighten it, it'll bite. Let's see. Yeah, I have plenty of room to do that. Plenty of room. But that's our light. That's what it's, let's get a, let me move you over here so you can get, that's what we're looking at. Something like that. I think it's going to be all right. When that's painted black, these aren't a mistake out here. This is intentional. I want to put a couple of tabs coming out here with a 5/16 hole or whatever I need for the turn signals. Got some buddy of mine sent me some of those real small ones. So we got to weld a tab on here, get our turns mounted here, and get our light mounted. I think it's gonna look good. I'm happy with it. Guys, so now we need to tackle our turn signal provisions here. I've got, this right here was my original template for making the headlight. That was one I decided not to use. But what I want to do is take that template. I want to measure this right here. Okay, and I'll just use a caliper. Get that measurement. Come over here and see where that measurement lands in this arc, and try to use this. It'll kind of keep with the theme. I think that's a good idea. Let's see what we got. All right, let's see here. Take it over here and see what we got on it. All right, wow. That's coming way back in here. That's too long. Way too long. I'm gonna have to make another template and I'm gonna have to make another template and figure what'll be a good length and then make it arc back in this way. So let me get another piece of cardboard, see what we can do. All right, gang, here's our two pieces that I had tacked together and I ground the edges out. I need to, I'm gonna have to do all the outside edges as well. That's gonna be before paint. But I got it made up. Let's split them apart where I tacked them. And we'll grind these things out and weld them on the bike. I'll be glad to get this little chore done because I have a bunch to do. There we go. All right. Let's see if we can get these welded on. I'm gonna tack them on the bike because if you remember, that was arced a little bit. I don't want to run that square. If I run that square, that means it's going to kick out this way because of the arc. I'm gonna have to hold them on the bike and tack them. Once I have them tacked, I can get them off the bike, bring them to the bench, and we can finish welding them up. So we'll get on that. All right, guys, we got to eyeball this bad boy. And I want those coming straight off. That's my goal. Let's see what we can do about that. Get out to the edge. Pretty good right there. Okay. I believe I can go with that. All right, guys, let's see if we can get this thing on the bike and get our light and our turns on it. This is why I wasn't worried about putting this in between. There's plenty of length on that bolt to clamp that on the tree there. So we're going to go ahead and run this thing down. Just nudging it. All right, let's see if we can get our light. Give me 1 second. I want to put that light together, guys. Well, there's our work, guys. We got the little turn signal on there. Got the light on there. I think we're all right. I like it. I got to touch up the paint on it where I've beat and banged around on it. But yeah, once we get a good coat of paint on this, get everything tightened up, I think we're going to be in real good shape. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. We're going to cut it off right here. Later.